Today I am going to show you a simple neuroendoscopic technique for treatment of cystic craniopharyngiomas. Many craniopharyngiomas have cysts and nearly two-thirds are predominantly cystic without any or minimal solid component. Though the complete resection of cystic craniopharyngioma is desirable, it is hindered by need of functional preservation and it is also associated with fairly good amount of morbidity and sometimes even mortality. However, partial resection of the cyst results in recurrence. To overcome the problem of recurrence, sometimes a reservoir connected to the catheter in the cyst is left behind, which can avoid need for second surgery, and only reaspiration may suffice in case of recollection of cysts. And it has been found that 3/4 of such patients may not require any further procedure. However, malposition of reservoir after microsurgical resection or even after stereotactic placement is not uncommon. So we have come out with a management protocol in our unit for management of craniopharyngioma, considering the limitations. So if it is predominantly solid and pre or infratubero-infundibular, then gross total resection is attempted. Nowadays we do even with nasal transsphenodal approach. However, if there is hypothalamic infiltration, then intentional partial resection is done to preserve hypothalamic function. In case of predominantly cystic tumor, if the cyst extends into the third ventricle causing hydrocephalus, then endoscopic transventricular cyst decompression and reservoir is placed. And if the cyst is extraventricular in lateral location, then craniotomy and variable resection with reservoir placement is done. After any of the above treatment, if there is a residual cyst, then repeated aspiration is done and radiotherapy is given later if patient requires multiple aspirations. And if there is a residual solid tumor, for older children or adult, we give radiotherapy, and for younger children, we'll wait if the tumor grows again, and if it does so, then radiotherapy is given when the child is 7 years or older. So I am going to describe a simple technique of endoscopic approach and reservoir placement for cystic craniopharyngioma. So 4 essential steps are visualization of the cyst at the foramen of Monro, puncturing and entering the cyst, and after clearance of the contents it appears like this. Place a catheter deep in the cyst, connect it to subcutaneous reservoir, and it is exemplified in this case of a large cystic craniopharyngioma with some hydrocephalus. There is no solid component. The cyst wall can be seen at the foramen of Monro. The cyst was coagulated and punctured, and we can see typical machine oil fluid coming out of the cyst wall. Biopsy of the cyst wall was done and the opening of the puncture was widened. You can see the crystals with some microcalcifications and the cyst fluid. And after thorough irrigation and aspiration, you can see clearly the inner wall of the cyst. A catheter is placed under direct vision through the endoscope sheath, and sheath is withdrawn, leaving the catheter inside. The catheter is then connected to a subcutaneous reservoir through which the fluid can be aspirated later. In case of multiloculated cyst, neuronavigation can be used. For example, in this case, there is a small cyst at the foramen Monro, but bigger cyst below. So after puncturing the small cyst, there was hardly any fluid and it collapsed. And inside you can see the wall of the bigger cyst, which was punctured, and the bigger cyst was entered. And after clearing the content, the deeper wall, that is cysternal wall of the bigger cyst, was also punctured and perforators from the basilar artery could be seen. And the catheter was placed all the way from the ventricle to the small cyst to the bigger cyst up to the pre-Pontine system. So in successful cases, even many years later, there is no recurrence, cyst has collapsed and there is no hydrocephalus. This is an example of recurrence where at 4 months it was seen the cyst had collapsed. So there was a small solid tumor, and at 5th month after endoscopic surgery, the cyst had recurred, and after craniotomy and gross total resection, there was no residual tumor. So I have done 29 such cases spanning over 6 years and had followed up them with a median duration of 18 months. And median recurrence-free survival was 41 months. Recurrence was defined as any recurrence which required either reaspiration or craniotomy and resection or even shunt placement due to development of new hydrocephalus. Truly speaking, only 2 out of this 8 cases had recurrence which requires craniotomy. Other cases may not be considered truly as recurrence. So this is Kaplan-Meier survival graph showing that median recurrence time is 41 months, that is nearly 3.5 years. We analyzed a number of factors, and irrespective of the size of solid component associated with cyst, the recurrence time was not significantly different, and the recurrence was not different even with children or with adults. However, if radiotherapy was not given, the time to recurrence was significantly shorter. The Cox regression analysis showed that though age and solid component were significant in univariate, only radiotherapy was a significant predictor of shorter time to recurrence. Then why not to use endoscope to resect the tumor instead of just aspirating and placing a catheter reservoir? So I reviewed a literature of over 100 cases, and gross total resection was attempted in some of the few cases and subtotal resection in many cases. However, it was associated with very high morbidity, and in spite of subtotal resection, there was a good amount of recurrence. However, where only fenestration and reservoir placement or only aspiration was done, there was no morbidity, though there was recurrence, and when the reservoir was placed, the recurrence was a little less than as compared to without reservoir. One may argue that a catheter and reservoir can be placed with open surgery or with a stereotaxy, then why endoscopy? However, irrespective of technique, except for endoscopy, improper placement has been reported in up to 16% of the cases. And endoscopy gives a more accurate placement. That's all.